first steps that I would take to get started, honestly, would be Medicare.gov. Medicare.gov is going to kind of give you a pool of information to start. And from that information, you'll be able to really start the cold calling or cold emailing process. If you're familiar, if you have Office 365 or G Suites, I would use the campaign email system. And for G Suites, it's GMass. I can't remember the name of the one for Office 365 to start that process, to kind of just organize the process for you so that you're not kind of fielding hundreds of emails. From there, take out some time over a weekend or a couple of hours to really set up all of your social media and then have it linked to each other. So Facebook owns Instagram. If you guys didn't know that they own each other. So for me, my Facebook and Instagram are linked. So my Facebook business page and my Instagram business page are linked to each other. So when I post on one, it posts on the other. And I'll get more into details about, in another session about how that works and how you can use it and how to look at the algorithms and stuff like that. But just set it up, commit to doing a post a week, reach out to business partners, reach out to people as a part of associations, connect to associations in your community. And the more community specific they are, it's a little bit better, because then that allows you to kind of make that connection, make that be your connection. And that definitely needs to be, if you're not on your local Chamber of Commerce, you need to get on your local Chamber of Commerce or Small Business Development Center. They have different workshops, B&I, they have different sessions that they do on a regular basis that just brings together business professionals. Then networking, a lot of you guys do an awesome job of networking within the group, so that's always great, but there may be opportunities for you, because there's so many NOSAs at this stage who have so many jobs, for you to collaborate with the NOSA, or, send a referral to a NOSA. You could also, share business contacts with the NOSA, because at an agency level, no facility has too many agencies, even if they tell you they have too many agencies. So you might want to consider that as a way to get clients, because not every client that you get that you have to actually heavily do business with. Some clients, especially if you feel like the client is lowballing you, could just be somebody that you use as a business reference. So that's why I talk about like that business contact having such a further reach, so that if you decide to go with a favorite VMS or another VMS system that's asking for references, you can put this agency, this particular facility down, so that you can kind of get to that next step. So if you have facility A and they're not giving you quite the bill rate that you want, but it can incorporate a good opportunity for you to get access to a VMS system or access to a bigger client, then that's a different way of looking at the process of obtaining clients. And then finally, the other thing is, go back to the people you used to work with. Companies, businesses that you used to work with, reach back out to them and see if they have needs. If you're connected and you have former coworkers and stuff like that, that's also a great avenue to go by to see if they have needs. And then finally, your social media. I would definitely prioritize LinkedIn. If you don't have anything, I would definitely set up my Facebook business page, so that will allow you to have a presence, a social presence. And then also reach out, search people, search for facilities in your area, hospital systems, administrators, DONs, things of that nature, and do an outreach. You can do it via a Zoom call, hey, join us on our Zoom call. Our staffing agency is local to your area. We're looking to help you meet your staffing needs. That's a Zoom call. I'm sure you would get people who would be interested in finding out more about that. And you can send an invite via LinkedIn. You can send an invite via multiple platforms for something like that. And that'll save you time and kind of allow you to reach a broader audience. And then the last couple of things when it comes to marketing is, don't waste a lot of time waiting on feedback and an answer. Once you get going, you need to keep pumping out the contacts, the calls, the emails. When they're ready, they'll get back to you. I do agree that you need to have them on a follow-up system, whether it's every other week or every couple of weeks. If, for instance, someone said back in November and December, no, we don't work with agencies, we don't need any agencies, and you see numbers in your area going up for COVID, or you just feel like, hey, it's another chance, reach back out. You know, me, the motto when it comes to marketing is no just means not right now. It doesn't mean not at all. LaQuana has a question about, will you be talking about VMS? So I'm going to talk about VMS in another session, and I'm going to share a little bit about the different VMS systems and their requirements and stuff like that. So I'm going to give a little bit more information about them. But VMS is definitely an option, and you don't have to do so much marketing to the VMS. Okay, so let me touch on one more thing and I'll answer your question. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to start dropping them below, and then I'll kind of touch on them a little bit. So the last part that I want to touch on when it comes to marketing, and you kind of had an agency, you've reached out to them, you've either called or emailed, and you've gotten a response, you've sent over the contract, and they come back to say to you, your bill rate is too high. So, of course, prior to determining your bill rate, it's expected that you've done your research to come with a fair bill rate. So when you create your bill rates, you want to make sure that you created a range of a bill rate. So it shouldn't just be $100, for instance. It should be $100 to $120. So you always, when you reach out to people, decision makers, want to start at the top end of your bill rate. And the reason is this is because just about every facility is going to come back and tell you your bill rate is too high. So if you're at the top end and they try to bring you down, you're not kind of coming below what you need to make sure that you're being profitable in your business. When I tell people, when I talk to people about that and I get feedback, people say, well, Shamika, they said the bill rate is too high. They're going to always say the bill rate is too high. But you really have to know where you want to be when it comes to that particular contract. And these are a couple of things to consider when you're working with a client. How much do you want to work for that particular client? You also want to consider how low can you go? Like if they say it's too high and you're going back to them and doing a counter offer, they're probably going to come back with another counter offer. How low is too low for you? Is this particular client going to open up another door for me? And that's really key when it comes to marketing and business relationships, because if putting this person's name or this particular company, and I'm going to use an example, for instance, if I had a contract, which I don't, but if I had a contract with Johns Hopkins Healthcare and they wanted to offer me a lowball bill rate, I would accept it, because their name alone as a business reference would open up many, many doors for a whole bunch of other reasons beyond the COVID, beyond them being connected to a university, being one of the top healthcare systems in America. That's a worth it type of situation. And also you have to consider, you don't have to fully staff them. A place like Johns Hopkins or any other, top tier facility, hospital system works with multiple agencies. You just want to get what you need from that particular interaction and move on. But I tell people early on, you can't be as picky because you don't have as much leverage. And when I talk about leverage, I'm saying if you're saying if their facility says to you, hey, the bill rate is too high, and you counter and they say it's still too high, if you don't have the leverage of saying, hey, well, this is competitive for the market because I work with X, Y, and Z, or I work with these other facilities, then you have to really be flexible. And some other ways that you can be creative so that it won't be a lose-lose situation for you is think about the business relationship, whether it can lead to opening other doors. You also want to consider what types of other arrangements. So is there a possibility if you meet certain metrics or goals or KPIs with that facility, could we renegotiate the contracted rate after 6 months or 90 days? Or is this going to open doors for contracts versus a per diem situation where you're able to create more volume with your staff members versus having them work day by day? Is there a sister or another facility that is owned by that same company that you would be able to be connected to through that relationship with that first company? So those are all things to consider when you're marketing, and whether or not it's a good look or it's not a good look for you to market for that particular agency. And really, think about when you say, yes, I'm going to move forward with that particular facility, or no, I'm not going to move forward with that particular facility. So that's kind of everything. So